Hey everyone, welcome back to Real People, Real English, the podcast where English meets you where you are. Even if where you are is your couch in pajamas at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. I'm Emma.
And I'm Henry. No judgment about the pajamas. Today we're talking about the biggest change to work in 100 years and the English you need to talk about it honestly.
Get comfortable. You probably already are.
So let's start with the obvious. Working from home used to be a fantasy, a dream, something you'd whisper about like a secret wish.
Imagine if I could just work from my couch. Imagine if I didn't have to commute. Imagine if I could wear whatever I want.
And then, almost overnight, it happened. The world said, everyone go home. And suddenly, the fantasy was reality.
And at first, it was magical. No commute, no office politics, no pretending to look busy, no small talk at the coffee machine. You could work in your pajamas, take breaks whenever you wanted, and pet your cat during meetings.
The cat attending meetings is very 2024.
My cat attended more meetings than some of my colleagues.
But then something shifted. The magic started to fade. And the things we celebrated became the things that haunted us.
No commute became, I never leave the house. No office politics became, I have no office friends. No small talk became, I haven't spoken to another human today. Work in pajamas became, I can't tell if it's Tuesday or Saturday anymore.
The dream became a blur. And 3 years later, we're still trying to figure out what it all means.
And I think the reason nobody has figured it out is because remote work is not just a work change. It's an identity change.
What do you mean?
Think about it. Before remote work, your identity was partly defined by your workplace. I work at that big building downtown. I'm the person in the corner office. I'm part of the marketing team on the third floor. Your job had a physical place, and that place was part of who you were.
And now? Now your workplace is your spare bedroom, or your kitchen table, or the corner of your living room between the couch and the bookshelf.
And that changes how you see yourself. When work has no physical place, work becomes shapeless, and shapeless things are hard to control.
That's a really good insight. Work became shapeless, like water. It fills whatever container you give it. And if you don't give it a container, it floods everything.
Work is water, and most remote workers forgot to build the dam.
Let's be fair and start with the good. Because there are real, genuine benefits to working from home.
Benefit number 1, flexibility. Flexibility means the ability to adjust your schedule and routine to fit your life. My job offers flexibility. I love the flexibility of remote work.
And flexibility is not just a nice word. It's life-changing. Parents can drop their kids off at school. People can exercise at lunch. You can go to the doctor without taking a whole day off.
Before remote work, your life had to fit around your job. Now, for many people, the job fits around the life. And that's a fundamental shift.
Benefit 2, no commute. And this is bigger than people realize. The average commute before remote work was about 45 minutes each way. That's an hour and a half every day, 7.5 hours a week, 390 hours a year.
390 hours sitting in traffic or on a train. That's like 16 full days, just getting to work and back.
Remote workers got those 16 days back. 16 days of life. That's not small.
And the word for this is reclaim. I reclaimed my commute time. Reclaim means to take back something that was yours. Your time was taken by the commute. Now you've taken it back.
Benefit 3, autonomy. Autonomy means the freedom to manage yourself. Remote work gives me autonomy. I thrive with autonomy.
Autonomy is different from flexibility. Flexibility is about time. Autonomy is about control. Nobody is watching you work. Nobody is counting your bathroom breaks. Nobody is judging whether you look busy enough.
You're trusted to do the work. When and how is up to you. And for many people, that trust made them more productive, not less.
Because here's a secret. Most people don't need someone standing behind them to work hard. They need space to think. And remote work gives you that space.
And benefit 4, the great equalization. Remote work made location irrelevant for many jobs.
A software engineer in a small town in Poland can now work for a company in San Francisco. A designer in Colombia can freelance for clients in London. A writer in the Philippines can work for a New York publisher.
Geography used to be destiny. If you lived in a small town, your job options were limited. Remote work changed that. Suddenly, your skills mattered more than your zip code.
Remote work leveled the playing field. Leveled the playing field means made things more equal. The field is now flat. Everyone competes on talent, not location.
And there's one more benefit that's personal, not professional.
What's that?
Freedom from performance. In an office, you perform. You perform being busy. You perform being social. You perform caring about the company culture.
Performing, caring about the company culture. That's painfully accurate.
But at home, you don't have to perform. You just work. You do the thing. And when you're done, you stop. No pretending, no acting busy when you finished early, no staying late just so the boss sees you.
The word for that staying late behavior is presenteeism. Presenteeism means being physically present at work even when you have nothing to do, just to look good.
Office presenteeism is pointless. Remote work eliminated presenteeism for me. That's a liberation many people didn't expect.
Liberation. Freedom. Not just from the commute, from the performance. And honestly, that might be the biggest benefit of all.
And I want to tell a quick story about performative busyness. I had a job once where my manager would walk past desks at 5:30 p.m. Just walk past. Not checking anything specific, just looking.
Looking to see who was still there.
Exactly. And everyone knew the walk was coming. So at 5:25, people would suddenly start typing. Not working, just typing, making noise, looking busy, performing.
The 525 performance. Everyone's a great actor at 525.
And when I went remote, that performance ended. And I realized I was spending at least an hour a day performing busyness instead of actually working. Remote work gave me that hour back.
An hour a day of pretending to work versus an hour a day of actually living. That math is insane.
Okay, now the bad. Because it's not all pajamas and freedom.
Problem number 1, the blur. The line between work and life has disappeared. When your office is your living room, when does work end?
It doesn't. That's the answer for millions of people. Work doesn't end. You check emails at dinner. You answer messages at 10 p.m. You wake up and immediately open your laptop because it's right there on the nightstand.
The word is boundaries. I struggle with boundaries when working from home. Boundaries are the invisible lines between work time and personal time, and remote work erased those lines.
In an office, the boundary was physical. You leave the building, work is over. At home, there's no building to leave. So work follows you everywhere. Into the kitchen, into the bedroom, into your weekends.
And the phrase for this? I can't switch off. Switch off means to mentally stop working. I find it really hard to switch off at the end of the day. This is the #1 complaint of remote workers everywhere.
Problem 2, isolation. And this connects to our last episode about loneliness.
When you work from home, days can pass without meaningful human interaction. You might have Zoom calls, you might have Slack messages, but those aren't the same as sitting next to someone, sharing a joke, going for lunch together.
I feel isolated working from home. Isolated means separated from others. The isolation of remote work was harder than I expected.
And isolation is sneaky. It doesn't hit you on day one, it builds slowly. Week one, you love the quiet. Week four, the quiet feels heavy. Week 12, you realize you haven't laughed with a colleague in 3 months.
And laughing with colleagues sounds small, but it's not. Those small moments, the coffee machine conversations, the lunch walks, the random hallway chats, those were the glue of work relationships, and we lost them.
I had a colleague who I used to get lunch with every Thursday. We weren't close friends exactly, but every Thursday, we'd walk to the sandwich shop and talk about life. Not work, life. Our families, our weekends, our weird thoughts.
That sounds like a real connection.
It was. And when we went remote, those lunches just stopped. We tried doing video lunch calls at first, but it felt forced. Eating on camera, making conversation through a screen. It wasn't the same.
Because the magic of those moments was the walking, the randomness, the fact that it was unplanned. You just happened to be in the same building at the same time, and something human grew from that coincidence.
You can't schedule spontaneity, and remote work killed spontaneity.
Spontaneity. That's an important word. Spontaneity means things happening naturally, without planning. I miss the spontaneity of office life. Remote work lacks spontaneity.
And the loss of spontaneity is the loss of serendipity, happy accidents, the random conversation that leads to a new idea, the hallway chat that leads to a collaboration, the lunch that leads to a friendship.
Those things don't happen on Zoom, and we're all poorer for it.
And for English learners specifically, the office was also a place where you practiced English accidentally. You overheard conversations, you picked up slang, you learned how people actually talk, not textbook talk, real talk.
And remote work removed that immersion. Now your English input is emails and Zoom calls, which tend to be more formal, more structured, less natural.
That's actually one reason why this podcast exists. We're trying to be the informal office conversation you're missing, the casual English that helps you sound human, not robotic.
So if you're a remote worker who misses the natural English of office life, keep listening. We're your virtual hallway chat.
Problem 3, career visibility. When you work from home, you become invisible to leadership. Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind means when people can't see you, they forget about you. And in a remote world, promotions sometimes go to the people who show up in the office, even if the remote worker is better.
I had a friend who worked from home for 2 years. Excellent work, excellent results. But when a promotion opened up, it went to someone who came to the office 3 days a week. Not because they were better, but because they were visible.
Visibility matters, and remote workers have to fight harder for it.
Quick pause.
If you understood all of that, flexibility, autonomy, boundaries, isolation, visibility, your business English is genuinely strong. These are words used in real meetings, real interviews, real performance reviews.
You're not just learning English, you're learning the English of modern work. And that's a skill that translates directly into career opportunities.
Now the weird, the unexpected stuff that nobody talks about.
Weird thing 1, Zoom fatigue. Your brain gets more tired from video calls than from in-person meetings. And there's a reason.
In a real room, your brain processes body language naturally, unconsciously. But on a video call, your brain has to work harder to read faces on a screen, manage your own image, deal with lag, interpret audio delays. It's exhausting.
I have Zoom fatigue. Back-to-back video calls are draining. Zoom fatigue is a real phenomenon that didn't exist 5 years ago, and now it's part of daily life.
Weird thing too. Your home doesn't feel like home anymore. When your kitchen table is also your desk and your bedroom is also your office, the spaces lose their meaning.
Before remote work, home was rest. Home was escape. Now, home is also stress, also deadlines, also difficult emails. Your brain never gets the signal that says, work is over, you can relax.
I feel like I live at work instead of working from home. That sentence captures it perfectly. You didn't bring work home. You brought your office into your sanctuary.
Sanctuary. Beautiful word. A sanctuary is a safe, peaceful place. Your home used to be a sanctuary. Now it's an open-plan office with better snacks.
Better snacks. That's the one upgrade.
And weird thing, I want to mention this, the strange relationship with getting dressed. Because it sounds silly, but it's real.
It is real. Go on.
When you go to an office, getting dressed is automatic. You wake up, you shower, you put on real clothes, you feel like a person. It's a ritual that signals, the day has started. I am a professional. I exist in the world.
And when you work from home?
The ritual disappears. You roll out of bed, open your laptop in your pajamas, and suddenly it's 2 p.m. and you're still wearing what you slept in. And something about that feels diminishing.
Diminishing. Like you're shrinking.
Yes, like the lack of ritual makes you feel less real, less present, less professional, even though your work is exactly the same.
And that's why many remote workers swear by a morning routine that includes getting dressed. Not in a suit, but in real clothes. Because the act of getting dressed is a signal to your brain. Today counts. You count.
I get dressed every morning, even though I work from home. It's part of my routine. It sounds small, but it changes how you feel about the entire day. Weird thing 3, the guilt of doing nothing. In an office, if you take a break, nobody notices. You walk to get water, you chat with someone, you stare out the window for 5 minutes. Normal.
But at home, every break feels like stealing. I should be working. What if someone messages me? What if they see I'm offline? The guilt is constant.
And that guilt is related to a phrase, performative busyness. Being busy for the sake of appearing busy, not because the work requires it, but because you feel watched.
I fell into performative busyness. Always online, always responding immediately, even when there was no urgency. That's not productivity. That's anxiety wearing a work costume.
And weird thing 4, the loneliness of success. This one nobody talks about.
The loneliness of success?
When you achieve something at home, you finish a big project, you close a deal, you solve a problem, there's nobody to celebrate with. No high fives, no great job from the desk next to you. You just close your laptop and it's quiet.
You celebrate alone. And celebrating alone doesn't feel like celebrating. It feels like finishing.
At the office, success had witnesses. People saw you work hard. People saw the result. They said, that was amazing. And that recognition fed your motivation.
At home, your wins are invisible. Nobody sees the effort. Nobody sees the late nights. You send a deliverable and get a one-word reply. Thanks.
Thanks. One word. After 3 weeks of work. That can feel really empty.
And the English for this, I miss being recognized for my work. My achievements feel invisible in a remote setting. I need more acknowledgement from my team.
Acknowledgement means someone notices and values what you did. And in remote work, acknowledgement has to be intentional because it doesn't happen accidentally anymore.
And now let's talk about where we are now. Because most companies aren't fully remote or fully in office anymore. They're hybrid.
Hybrid. Hybrid means a mix of two things. We have a hybrid schedule, 3 days in the office, 2 days at home. Hybrid work is the new normal.
And hybrid sounds like the best of both worlds. You get flexibility and human interaction. You get quiet focus days and collaborative office days.
But in practice, hybrid has its own problems. I never know when to be in the office. The office days feel forced. I drive 30 minutes to the office just to sit on Zoom calls I could have done from home.
That one. Going to the office to do the same Zoom calls. The most 2026 sentence possible.
And there's another word, asynchronous. Asynchronous means not happening at the same time. We work asynchronously. People complete tasks on their own schedule and communicate through messages instead of meetings.
Asynchronous work is growing. Instead of everyone being online at the same time, people work when they're most productive and leave updates for others to read later.
I prefer asynchronous communication. Our team works asynchronously across time zones. These are real phrases used in modern workplaces. And if you can use them naturally in an interview, you'll sound like someone who understands the future of work.
Let's give you the phrases. Because this topic comes up in interviews constantly.
If an interviewer asks, "How do you feel about remote work?" I thrive in a remote environment. I'm self-motivated and I've developed strong routines for staying productive and connected.
Thrive means to do very well. I thrive when I have autonomy. It's a strong, confident word.
If they ask about challenges, the biggest challenge was setting boundaries between work and personal time. I solved it by creating a dedicated workspace and a firm end-of-day routine.
Dedicated workspace means a specific place only for work. Not the couch, not the bed. A desk, a corner, a room, dedicated to work only. This shows interviewers you're serious about structure.
And if they ask about collaboration, I've learned to be very intentional about communication in a remote setting. I over-communicate on projects and make time for informal check-ins to maintain team relationships.
Over-communicate sounds negative, but it's actually a remote work superpower. It means you share more information than necessary to make sure everyone stays aligned. And one more phrase for interviews. If they ask about your remote work setup, I have a dedicated workspace with good lighting and a stable internet connection. I treat my home office like a real office.
That answer sounds prepared and professional. It tells the interviewer, "I'm not working from bed with the TV on. I take this seriously."
And if you want to impress, I've developed a shutdown ritual at the end of each workday. I close my laptop, leave my workspace, and do something physical to create a mental separation between work and rest.
Shutdown ritual. That's a beautiful phrase. It means a specific set of actions you do every day to signal the end of work. Close the laptop, leave the desk, go for a walk, make tea, change clothes, whatever tells your brain, we're done.
Without a shutdown ritual, your brain stays in work mode all evening. And that's how burnout happens.
Burnout. We talked about this in our plans episode. Total exhaustion from too much work and too little rest. And remote workers are especially vulnerable to it because work never physically ends.
I use a shutdown ritual to prevent burnout. That's a sentence that wins interviews because it shows self-awareness, discipline, and healthy work habits. 3 things every employer wants.
Intentional is another power word. I'm intentional about my time. I'm intentional about connecting with colleagues. It means you do things on purpose, with thought, not by accident.
Now, directly to you.
Whether you work from home, from an office, or from a coffee shop pretending to work, this topic is part of your life now.
And the way you talk about it in English, in interviews, in meetings, in conversations, matters. Because employers want to know you can navigate this new world.
If you can say, I thrive with autonomy, but I'm intentional about staying connected, that sentence alone could help you get a job because it shows self-awareness, adaptability, and communication skills in one breath.
And if you're struggling with remote work, if the isolation, the blur, the guilt, or the fatigue is real for you, please know you're not failing. You're adapting. And adapting is hard, but it's also proof that you're growing.
And one more thing. If you're an English learner who works from home, in English, that's double difficulty. You're navigating remote work and a second language at the same time.
That's incredible, actually. You're sitting at your kitchen table, writing emails in English, joining Zoom calls in English, navigating office politics in English, all from a small room in a country where English isn't the first language.
If that's you, please be proud. That's not just working from home. That's working from home in a language your brain is still learning. And you're doing it.
Every email you send, every call you join, every message you type, that's courage. Real, daily, quiet courage.
Word replay time.
First, flexibility.
The ability to adjust your schedule to fit your life. My job offers great flexibility. Let's repeat. Flexibility.
Flexibility. Next, autonomy.
The freedom to manage yourself and your work. I thrive with autonomy. Let's repeat. Autonomy.
Autonomy. Next, boundaries.
The invisible lines between work time and personal time. I need better boundaries. Let's repeat. Boundaries.
Boundaries. Next, isolated.
Separated from others, cut off from social interaction. The isolation was harder than expected. Let's repeat. Isolated.
Isolated. Next, hybrid.
A mix of two things, like working partly from home and partly in the office. We have a hybrid schedule. Let's repeat. Hybrid.
Hybrid. Next, asynchronous.
Not happening at the same time. Working on your own schedule. We communicate asynchronously. Let's repeat. Asynchronous.
Asynchronous. Next, thrive.
To do very well, to grow and succeed. I thrive in a remote environment. Let's repeat. Thrive.
Thrive. And our last phrase, switch off.
To mentally stop working at the end of the day. I find it hard to switch off. Let's repeat. Switch off.
Switch off.
8 words that describe modern work. Master them, and you'll sound like a professional in any English conversation about careers.
And as always, rewind and repeat if you need to. Your mouth needs to feel these words. That's our episode.
If this resonated, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been working from home and feeling complicated about it.
In the comments, I'm your name from your country, and working from home has been for me. We read every one.
Free PDF in the description. Vocabulary, interview phrases, boundaries checklist.
Monday through Friday. Bell, you know.
And here's what we want to leave you with.
Working from home is not perfect. Working in an office is not perfect. Work itself is not perfect. But the way you talk about it, the way you understand it, the way you set boundaries around it. That's in your control.
And control is the real freedom, not the location, not the pajamas, the ability to say, this is my work time and this is my lifetime, and I protect both.
Protect your time, protect your space, protect your sanity, and protect your English.
Take care of your career and take care of yourself.
This was Real People, Real English. I'm Henry.
And I'm Emma. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. And please, put on real shoes today. Just once. Your feet miss them. And maybe take a walk in them. Outside. Where the sky is. Remember the sky?
The sky. That thing above the ceiling. Yes. Go visit it sometime.
Your body misses it. Your brain misses it. And your English, well, your English is doing just fine right here with us.
Your feet miss them. Bye-bye.
And maybe take a walk in them. Outside. Where the sky is. Remember the sky?
The sky. That thing above the ceiling. Yes. Go visit it sometime.
Your body misses it. Your brain misses it. And your English, well, your English is doing just fine right here with us.